Hey, I'm Stone Cold Steve Austin. Welcome to the Broken Skull Sessions. My guest today is a superstar that checks a lot of boxes that promoters are looking for. One of her most admirable traits is she is an absolute workhorse and can have a great match night in, night out with anybody on the roster. She's also a 13-time world champion. My guest today is Charlotte Flair. How you doing?
Thanks, Maverick.
How you doing, Goose?
Good.
You
remember.
We have going on, yeah. She was on one of my TV shows way back in the day. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming. Little does anybody know, and Charlotte's not going to sell. She had a hell of a damn travel night last night.
You can't tell.
A bunch of cancellations. No, we can't tell, but a bunch of cancellations. It's like, it looks like it's all fun, glitzy, and glamour when you're in front of a camera, but it's the getting there process and all the travels that go with this business that make it the grind that it is. How you holding up?
Well,
I got to say congratulations on getting married. I'm assuming my invitation got lost somewhere in the mail.
I didn't think you'd want to come all the way to Mexico.
Where did y'all get married in Mexico?
In his hometown.
Oh, really?
In Mexico.
Is it beachfront or
No,
interior?
Interior.
Okay.
Yeah. Durango. Well, really, it's Gomez Palacio, and the farm was on Lerdo.
How's being married?
It's been amazing. Happy wife, happy life, right?
Yeah. But hey, in this business,
Yes.
Good luck.
Yeah.
You took a little time off to go on a honeymoon?
I did.
Where did you go first? And then I'll get the next question.
We went to Costa Rica. He had to be back at work a week after. I really wanted to go to Greece because I've never been. But he chose Costa Rica because of the travel from Mexico to Greece to give us more time. And it was amazing. I ate everything. And it was awesome. Like, to have a full 7 days is very rare in our business. We had a full 7 days there.
That's what I was going to ask you. Were you able to detach and just forget about the business? Or were you thinking, hey, man, what about me?
No, because I left on such a high note. I feel like, had I not, maybe. But I was like, man, that went really well. And we needed the time with our schedules being so different. It was really special. And he planned the entire honeymoon.
He did?
He did.
That's amazing. Normally, a guy will screw up everything when it comes to making arrangements.
Well, he has to be particular when it comes to the queen.
You realize, obviously, you're no newcomer to this, and you've been around the business virtually your entire life. So this is a pretty tough situation, potentially, right?
Yeah, it's been hard.
But hopefully it's great and it lasts forever.
At the end of the day, he's my best friend, and he's who I want to call, and he gets it. And being a woman explaining what we go through to someone that doesn't understand the business it's hard to explain.
It is.
Like, even when I try to talk to my sister, who has nothing to do with it, who doesn't care, he's my best friend.
Yeah. Well, and the fact that he knows a lot about the business, as you said.
Yeah.
But, and jumping into the conversation, you've seemingly done it all in the women's division. But your career is one that almost never was, because you didn't dream about being a sports entertainer. So at what point were you destined to get into the business? Because you could have been anything, and now here you are with me, talking about the illustrious career you've thus had so far.
It's sad, but it's not. I mean, it's not. But wanting to follow in my little brother's footsteps, and hoping he was going to meet me down at Tampa when I started at FCW and wrestle with him. My family, my mom, my dad, my brother, my sister, myself, wanting to help him. He ultimately gave me his dream, and I'm here today solely because of him.
But at some point, is there you did it because of him, but now, I mean...
now it's all about me. But, I mean, I would have never imagined at 25, here we are drinking at I think that was the Coca-Cola 500.
Yeah.
Because we're from Charlotte, so that's what you do, a bunch of rednecks. I didn't even know what I was doing. When Johnny called me, he said Hunter was taking over, and then Hunter eventually called me, and he was like, you really want to do this? Because no one had ever heard that I wanted to be in the business. And I was like, yeah. He was like, well, it's going to be hard, and because I'm letting you in doesn't mean that I'm going to help your brother out. And I was like, no, I'm ready to work hard. He was like, okay. And then when I got there, I don't know, it just clicked. I felt like I belonged. Like, it's one of the weirdest things. Like, when I watched it, I wasn't always, like, fascinated by it. I loved watching my dad, but it wasn't, like, a weekly thing.
Okay, but then, you know, with your dad being the guy that he was, and many consider him to be the greatest of all time, I'm part of that club. So, what was life like for you growing up being the daughter of Ric Flair? I mean, because he was ridden probably the hardest of almost anybody, defending the world championship all around the world, and this was shoot. So he was traveling so much. What kind of impact did that make on you?
I don't know, because I don't know what, I mean, I was born with him being champion, so, like, all I know is when my dad was home, he was picking me up from school, he was making me breakfast, he was bringing me lunch at school, because I always loved eating DeLuca salads. Like, how, like, spoiled was I? And then sports. Like, if he could be at the camp, he was taking me to the camp. He drove me to Carolina camp. He drove me to San Diego State volleyball. Like, he was as active and hands-on as he could be. And it was towards the end of his career. Like, he took me on 2 different tours with him, my junior year and my senior year. That was so much fun.
They're having a good time.
When you were on the road with him, was that any kind of, did you at any point gravitate and say, hey man, this is pretty cool, I think I would like to do this?
I thought it was really cool, but it was just a matter of sitting in the locker room, seeing the girls and just how beautiful they were and how diva-ish, like seeing Tori and Stacy and Trish and Lita just being like mesmerized. Like, I could never put myself in their shoes because my dad didn't necessarily raise me in that way. It was like sports. You have to, you know, drink your milk and take your vitamins and make personal training after school. Or, I mean, I was a gymnast until middle school, and then my mom and dad made me choose basketball or volleyball. My dad loved basketball, but I chose volleyball, and I did all-star cheerleading. It was just sports. I was kind of a tomboy.
Did you ever think, hey man, I'll be a professional volleyball player or pursue something like that? Because I know you were an athletic trainer, but you have a degree in public relations. Well,
I was really lost. Like, when I went to Appalachian State, I don't even know why I chose App. I think because I was such a homebody, it was the first time away when I went on the recruiting. But, well, first I went to Wake Forest with my mom and dad on that recruiting visit. But they went with me. And then the second one I went alone, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. So I was like, I'm going to Appalachian State. So I went to Boone on the scholarship. And then I quit like the 3rd year. And when I quit volleyball and moved to Chapel Hill and was going to NC State to finish, I completely lost who I was. I lost my identity. I had no goals or inspiration, or I was just finishing school. No one told me to finish school. I just knew, like,
well, what happened
that's
there?
What you do.
And we don't go do it to a deep dive, but you come out with a degree in public relations. So
well, my mom and dad divorced when I graduated high school, and that like derailed me. So then I went to App. They were separated. My little brother went to boarding school, so we were separated. I got wrapped up in the wrong things, and then I quit. And there was no one telling me yes or no. My dad was about to board a plane to Australia, and I was like, I'm quitting volleyball. And he was like, what? Click. And he was, you know, off doing his thing, and I think he was in a different place in his life, and my mom was going through it, and with my brother up and down with his addiction problems. So when I quit, I just knew to finish school, so I finished school, and I moved back to Charlotte, and it was just like, this is what you do. And I went to the owner of this private training studio, was a trainer at one of my dad's old Gold's gyms. So when I showed up and was like, hey, I'm here, he's like, oh, absolutely. I'd love to have you training. But I don't think I would go to me now as like a personal trainer then. Right. It was just a job that I enjoyed. But 2 years took me to the Four Horsemen Hall of Fame induction, where me, my brother, and my dad went. We were sitting at dinner, and one of the producers looked at me at dinner and said, why aren't you doing this? But really, the ultimate goal was probably to piss off Reed. So I think my dad and Johnny had probably, or I don't know. And Reed was like, I mean, we were like 2 years apart. Everything was like a competition, and that was his dream. So I was like, really? I don't know. He was like, you got to do this, you got to do this, you got to do this. And that's how it happened. Literally, over dinner, 2 months later, I reported to FCW. I didn't know what I was doing. Something took me there. I was so lost, Steve. If you even see, I was scared of my own shadow. I just had no direction. Do
you ever feel
dreams.
when I look at your physicality, your looks, your talent, the way you can work in the ring, as second generation, maybe you weren't thinking about do you feel like maybe it's just predetermined or predestined that you're going to be in this business somehow, some way, and maybe Reed's tragic passing pointed you that direction, or said, hey, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this at the highest level for Reed?
Well, yeah, so I got there. This story makes me emotional. So I got there in July, and...
I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. I got there in July, and I was like, I don't know what I'm doing here. The kids probably already hate me because I didn't have a tryout. They all know that.
They just figured you figured it out.
Yeah, and that was the case. And I remember... Those are my
That's a great
first...
picture.
Oh, God. I didn't know how to pose or anything. And my hair...
No,
and my eyebrows? Now I know how to do my eyebrows.
But you already have a look. So, okay.
No, ew.
Go with the story.
So, Hunter had just hired Canyon Seaman.
Yeah.
I was Canyon's first hiree. So he calls me. And he's like, well, I just want to let you know you're not going to get any handouts. And I was like, I'm not asking for handouts. I'm a Division I athlete.
I like the attitude.
What?
Yeah.
I'm not saying that I'm a supermodel or I know how to do my makeup, but it was just from my competitive nature and being there the first day. I remember we had a blow-up drill, and Bill DeMont was running the blow-up drills, and the two rings are side by side, and at that time the men and women did the blow-up drills.
And a blow-up drill, to those out there watching, is an activity just designed to make people gas out and be heavily winded. That's what we call blowing up.
Yep. And he was telling people to move out of my way because I kept going. And Dusty, at the end of the day, because he took to me like a daughter, I felt like, pulled me aside and he's like, you're going to be okay, kid. I was worried. And I was like, thank you, Dusty. I love you. So then I got there. So then I started to get in this groove, I'm really cool. And I'm like, I can't even tell. So Reed had ended up calling me in September. I didn't know one of the producers' ring names because I really did not know much about the business. So I said, I said his name. He's like, you don't even know their wrestling name. He was like, shoot mad at me because he's like, how is she here doing this and I'm not? But anyways, he eventually got to Japan in January. He'd asked me to come home that Thanksgiving, and I didn't. I was so into what I was doing and being there and having fun with the talent. I forever will regret and the guilt of not going home to see him that last time. So fast forward to January, he gets to Japan. We're FaceTiming all the time, and he had asked me to retweet a tweet for one of his shows. And this is when it's new to Twitter, right?
Yes.
And I wouldn't do it because I was so angry of his drug addiction. But I was like, man, had I just retweeted one tweet for him to show him that I was proud of him. So regardless, my dad brings him home from Japan to see me at Access at WrestleMania, my first Access to see me wrestle for the first time. My dad flies him home and he dies that night. So from when he died, I showed back up at work a week later. Dusty's like, you got to let it go. Keep moving forward. And Dusty was our promo.
Yes.
Promo coach at that time. So around that time, we ended up going to Orlando to the new facility, and I cut a promo that summer about being the mountain, or something about a stupid mountain, not Space Mountain.
Yes.
But just being whatever. And he's like, I know you got it now. You got it. I don't know. So Dusty was very much, but that's my whole story. That's the process. Reed passed away.